Hi, my name is Travis Simpson. I'm a registered nurse at Lakeland Regional Medical Center. For my leadership conference presentation, the topic that I chose was team building. I consider communication and teamwork to be some of the most effective and important skills to learn throughout your nursing career. These are a couple of skills that can't really be taught throughout nursing school that you just kind of have to develop as far as through experience and through proper management and everything like that. Promoting good team working skills throughout the interdisciplinary system, ranging from communication and teamwork with the physician to provide positive patient care to your nurse manager, your team leader, or just even other nurses. Teamwork can just really provide a lot of great patient outcomes and satisfaction between the patient and the family. I've researched a couple studies as far as the effectiveness of team building on communication and teamwork skills. The first study that I found was among Korean nursing students. I considered this to be a great basis for a control group because it stated in the study that in Korea, apparently they don't practice team building and teamwork as much as we do here in the United States. So I think that provided a great control group for this study. There were 195 junior year nursing students that were examined from Korea. The experimental group consisted of 100 students, and the control group consisted of 95 students. The experimental group participated in team building activities over a 100-day period, and the control group was not exposed to any of those team building activities. Both groups were participated in a pre and a post test to evaluate their communication, teamwork skills. The first test was pretty average across the board. Both groups were about the same. After the experimental group was exposed to the team building activities over the 100-day period, they significantly differed for the post test, showing more positive team working skills and communication through the interdisciplinary team. So the conclusion for that study was team building activities were effective for improving the teamwork skills and team effectiveness among Korean nursing students. The other study that I found was from a business journal. It compared two approaches for team building to produce a performance measurement evaluation. So basically they used two different team building approaches. One of them was the traditional top-down management approach. That consists of basically the CEO, management, lower level management, and then just the regular employees. And all of the decisions are pretty much made within the CEO and management. The employees really aren't included in that decision making. And the second approach that was used was a hybrid bottom-up approach, which consisted of a consensus model. Basically, that just utilizes consensus among the actual employees, works from the bottom up. So the employees tell the management what they would like to see, how they would like their teams to be built, and who they work the best with, all those kinds of opinions there. Okay, so a sample was taken from a small family-owned vehicle maintenance firm. A sample of 8 routine maintenance jobs were selected for team performance comparison purposes. The things that were judged as far as performance comparison was the customer satisfaction ratings and the employee satisfaction ratings. By far, the consensus approach was much better in comparison to the traditional top-down approach. It was found that the jobs were completed faster, and customer and employees were more satisfied. Basically, the conclusion that was found from this study is that management should include the employees' opinions in the selection of work teams. This helps empower and motivate the teams to work faster and more efficiently. I found a quote from a nursing journal here. Team building strategies assisted the nurse leader/manager to build an effective work team by strengthening communication and interpersonal relationships so that the staff could function as a more cohesive group. That was just kind of an important quote that I thought that I should mention throughout my presentation here. So as far as my personal experience with team building and teamwork, I've found it to be vitally important to my personal nursing in general. During the COVID pandemic, when it was really rampant on my floor, as I'm sure most of you know, staffing was a real issue. And we didn't have enough staff to be able to provide quality care for all of our patients. Nurses were being tripled all the time, and whenever one intensive care patient crashes in a triple assignment, those other two patients suffer. Their quality of care is just not as effective. So my manager took all these considerations, took all of these problems into consideration. She discussed it with some members of her team, the team leaders, and some staff nurses, and they developed the process of team nursing. Team nursing was a great discovery that we established for our unit. Instead of having triple assignments, like say you would have 2 nurses and each of those 2 nurses would have 3 patients each, they instead developed the team nursing, which consisted of a team of 2 nurses that would have 5 patients. They would split them evenly or provide care for them depending on their intensity. This provided a great way to establish relationships between nurses. My nurse manager utilized the consensus approach to develop a consensus as far as which nurses work well together and which nurses do not. She basically asked everybody on the unit to establish their team, their dream team, who they would want to work with on the unit and who they really didn't work well with. And that was taken into consideration when staffing assignments were made. So this whole process made it a lot easier. So for instance, within that group of 5 patients, if 1 or 2 of them were to start crashing, one nurse could take care of those 2 or 1, and the other nurse could care to the other patients while that other nurse was busy. And that just provided a great way to provide quality care even when staffing issues were a problem. Okay, that's all I have for my leadership conference presentation. I appreciate you guys listening to me and learning something new about team building. I appreciate it. Thanks.